So you're back. Yeah. I'm glad. We haven't seen you since you left. Do you miss it? Well, you don't remember me, or this place, do you? You can't. Not right now. But later. I can wait. We'll always be here. Where you're going, it's nice. You'll learn a lot. I mean, I hope you do. It would be a shame not to. You don't go there often, right? Enjoy it. Here and where you're going. Things make more sense. It will all make sense at the end. It's not like where you came from. It's hard there, right? That's what I remember when I was there. Such a long time ago. Yeah, it was. You'll feel things. And you'll know. That's why you came here, right? To know. That's the difference between here and there. The knowing. There's more things where you are, but you know less. You can't have it both ways, I guess. That's what I think, at least. Don't forget me when you leave, if you can. But don't rush back either. We'll be here. So don't worry. Just make the most of your time here. Okay? Take care.
What do you want, Joel?
Just wait. I don't know. I want you to wait for just a while. see anything that I don't like about you.
But you
Right
will.
now, I can't.
But you will. You know, you will think of things. And I'll get bored with you and feel trapped because that's what happens with me.
Okay.
Okay.
two of them both had my father in them. It's peculiar. I'm older now than he ever was by 20 years. So, he says he's the younger man. Anyway, first one I don't remember too well, but it was about meeting him in town somewhere and he gave me some money. I think I lost it. The second one, it was like we was both back in older times. And I was a horseback, going through the mountains of a night, going through this pass in the mountains. It was cold and there was snow on the ground. He rode past me and kept on going. Never said nothing going by, just rode on past. He had his blanket wrapped around him with his head down. When he rode past, I seen he was carrying fire in a horn, the way people used to do. And I could see the horn from the light inside of it, about the color of the moon. And in a dream, I knew that he was going on ahead. And he's fixing to make a fire somewhere out there in all that dark, all that cold. And I knew that whenever I got there, he'd be there. Then I woke up.
To become something is a limitation, whatever it may be. Even if a person were to be called the king of the world, he would still not be the emperor of the universe. The master of the earth is still the slave of heaven. The selfless one is one who is no one, and yet is all. The Sufi, therefore, takes the path of being nothing instead of being something. It is this feeling of nothingness which turns the human heart into an empty cup into which the wine of immortality is poured. It is this state of bliss which every truth-seeking soul yearns to attain. It is easy to be learned, and it is not very difficult to be wise. It is within one's reach to become good, but there is an attainment which is greater and higher than all these things, and this is to be nothing. It may seem frightening to many, the idea of becoming nothing. For human nature is such that it is eager to hold on to something, and the self holds on to its own personality, its own individuality. Once one has risen above this, one has climbed Mount Everest. One has arrived at the spot where earth ends and heaven begins. It's a selection. Add to that D.T. Suzuki, Zen. To love God is to have no self, to be of no mind, to become a dead man, to be free from the constrictive motivations of consciousness. Mahatma Gandhi. There comes a time when an individual becomes irresistible, and his or her actions become all-pervasive in their effect. This comes when that person reduces himself to zero. When I was in Japan and studied in a Zen monastery in Kyoto, every day we would read, among other things, the statement, this is Hakuin's song, when you understand that form is the form of the formless, your coming and going takes place nowhere else but where you are. When you understand that thought is the thought of the thoughtless, your singing and dancing is no other than the voice of the Dharma.